Hey, hey everyone, what's up? Josh here, coming at you from home today, and I've got two sick kids and a toddler, so I will almost definitely be interrupted a few times during today's live stream. So I apologize in advance. It's okay. I've got sick kids; they take priority. But I am starting a new illustration today. Uh, Went back to Heavy Metal Magazine, some of the earlier stuff, and started reading. And in issue number two, there's an interesting story about a man who curses himself to an eternity of suffering as he sacrifices his life to save a woman that, or to revive a woman that he loves. So he'll never be able to see her again. Oh, sorry. Sneezing. So he'll never be able to see her again, but it's worth it to him. But his name was Agorn, and he is frequently or infrequently revived to be the son of death. So that's sort of the story I'm going for is the the revival of Agorn. Good morning, Namera. Um, yeah, yeah, the awakening of Aegon is the story or theme that I'm going for here. I don't know if you joined in early enough to hear the little disclaimer that I'm coming at you from home, and I have sick kids, so um, tis the season for flu A. Hooray! Uh, it's also my wife's birthday, so I'd already taken the day off. Um, so after I'm done with the live stream, we're gonna go put new tires on the van, take the kids to the walk-in clinic, and come home and try to get the house super duper clean for my wife before she gets home. Yeah, busy day. I'll let her know you said that. Oh. So, thinking of how I want to frame this on A3 paper. I've got a reference board already built, which order. Let's see what happens if I. Aha. So here is my reference board. I've got a lot of tattoo tattoo references on said reference board. But this is framed directly from the comic. I think this is 1977, but I think this is the first time that like this idea of like the skull with the spark in the eye was really executed in popular comics. Um, Heavy Metal Magazine's pretty dope. So I've got that. I really loved this composition. So like this warm light coming in from a hole in the roof looked really cool. I don't know if I want to take that wide of a shot. I've got a bunch of references with like warm golden hour light on dense foliage, uh, some other random cool images, but the skull I really wanted to push toward neo-traditional tattooing because I love neo-traditional tattooing. So I'm gonna illustrate it more in this direction. I really love like this shape design, this shape language. So I'm going to be playing with all of these ideas and coming up with something hopefully cool and interesting. Um, I think in order to get like this shape language in the skull, I'm going to have to close crop it about like the middle frame right here, spread that out, and then make it look like, this corpse of a king or corpse of a warrior on a throne has been overtaken by dense foliage. So I think that's sort of something that I've been playing with. Like I love the strong graphic feel of neo-traditional tattooing. So that's what these are. Is that showing? Oh, yeah, it's showing. But I think that's something that I can definitely bring into my illustration work to enhance it because that's a space that I'm comfortable in is neo-traditional tattooing. Um, so I think I'm going to start pushing more of the like comic book line work and see how that fits in my illustrations. Oh, oh, I've got screaming kids. Let me mute that. 1 second. All right, so my daughter is upset that my other daughter is not playing with her, and she's threatening to be naked as revenge to me and eat paper towels. I don't understand toddler logic. Oh, all right. So ideas for composing this. So we've got option one, which is like ruins, and we get Aegon on his throne. Get the sword here and some diagonals, and then like maybe depending on the perspective, we could get like a broken roof and light shining in, uh, like some foliage in the foreground, and some foliage growing up on Aegon. So we get some diagonals there. Hey, what is up, Marcelo? Yeah, kids. Um, so this is more of a medium crop. I don't think I'd be able to get a ton of the details that I want in there. Um, but it would tell more of a narrative story, I guess. And then we get, the awakening flame portion, his cape or whatever. Could probably like move this, get a tangent in the corner that way, so I can do this maybe. And some like vines growing down from the top, do a shape there. That's one option. Option number two is the closer crop, which I think is what I'm leaning more towards. So we get, the skull and the sword stuff here. If I do, this option, I'm thinking. Let's see. I can still do like the leaves in the foreground. It would be much less about the feeling of overgrowth, but I could also bring some overgrowth up in the corner, maybe up onto his cape. It would be less about the light source, like with the hole in the roof. So this would all be dark. If I would do this, this would be super dark. This would be the light source with like beams coming down here. I'd say like really push contrast towards the center of the image. Like this is closer to what I wanted to do. We'd get basically all of this light here, so I need to darken some of this, and maybe have some shadows on the foliage, really darken the background, and something more like that. Some dark foliage here in the corner. Again, just to push attention towards the center. And so light. Be sort of in front of and casting shadows this way. So we'd get like highlights and then shadow, and shadow, shadow, highlights. Have the skull on a dark stone background. Other, like, I usually don't do a ton of composition exploration. So if anyone else has like ideas that they'd like to see sketched in thumbnails, hit me with them. Because right now, like between the two, so I've got 3 possible frames to pick from. Yeah, hit me with it. Hit me with some ideas. Oh, Marcelo, this is Namera. Namera, this is Marcelo, Fat Cappy. He's a live streaming regular. I think you guys were like ships passing in the night last time. Um, you were both on the last live stream, but just at different points in time. Uh, so Namera is in Vale's Art Castle, which is a new Discord community I've joined, which is really freaking awesome. I say joined, I accidentally turned into a mod. uh, but it's been an incredible community to be a part of. But yes, please hit me with your idea. How? Gross. I just realized one of the images on my reference board is from an AI generator. I'm deleting that. Ugh. I hate that you have to like hyper analyze everything you look at anymore. Oh, silhouette. That is. See, this is why I love live streams. I can just ask people for ideas and then steal them. Alright, so that would involve some perspective gridding. So, for now, I'm just gonna like think of it as a diagonal. So we get sort of like VP3 here, And then 1 and 2. Well, 2 would be off the canvas that way somewhere. So get something like this. We could. Ooh, I want it like half off of his head. So we could have, you know, the. So we could do a pseudo close up, like honestly close to the medium crop. And then, let's see, let's say I want a light source here so that I can do the spark of Agorn's life right here. Get a strong silhouette, and then sort of like, how do I want to do that? Problem solving. Problem solving. Let's do the chest barrel. Okay. Wrapping over the form. We get Agorn's sword. And then we get foliage coming down, sort of in perspective, and some foliage growing up over the form here. Oh, snap. I think that's it. Maybe push. So I want like the light to sort of overlap and like give me a really strong focal point right here. So I can do like the dark throne, the light coming in, hitting. Oh, there it is. Alright, so light source, dark throne, sort of stone and mossy. I can do like some very, very pale details in the sky, like maybe some clouds leading the viewer right to here. We get a really strong value pattern this way. We can have light reflecting off the sword, which I'll have to figure out the perspective of. And I'm wasting a whole lot of the frame with these details, so let's erase them. Erase that. There we go. That lets me get more detail in, gives me foliage, foliage in perspective, more hints of perspective, foliage growing up, chest barrel, diagonal lines, and then the whole thing reads sort of diagonally this way with a cross diagonal. Yes! Alright. Ha 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 ha. Alright, compositionally, yeah. Thank you, Namera. That Very cool. Very cool. I think the sword I'm gonna like push to be more diagonal to flow like with his cloak cape thing. And I'm gonna try and pull in some of the little micro details of uh, the old 1977 story of Aegorn, the son of death. So like there's decorative armor that he's wearing and stuff. I think looks really cool. You are the clever. Yes, you are. Oh. So now, copy and paste. Get rid of that. So I'm gonna, like my last piece, I left a whole lot of my line work in there, and it's really, uh, it helped a lot. It helped a lot to understand that I am a linear artist and I shouldn't try to hide it. Um, what am I doing? Oh, drawing guy. Edit on perspective. Let's see here. Tab to create vanishing points. Oh, no. So let's start with. I really want this one to be up there-ish. Push this that away. So ideally you create something close to an equilateral triangle whenever you're setting up your vanishing points. Like that's where it's going to be most accurate. Um, I don't mind fudging it. Oh! New layer. So I'm just going to start with some simple shape design rather than trying to get it all perfectly figured out. So thinking of where the chest barrel would be in perspective. Something close to this, probably. Line coming down. And the skull. Probably somewhere in here. Thinking over the form. I think this is going to be way more constructed than I normally do. So shoulders. Really trying to think of things vanishing. So this skull actually does need to be a little smaller. I think this is the bounding box. The skull. It's a bit far. I just spaced. Alright. So there's my third. Wait, no. Well, technically I think that was supposed to be my third. There's my third. So there's the brow line. Here's the bottom of the nasal cavity. Wraps around, wraps around, wraps around. This will be the front of the skull. Pretty close. Oh. So, alright, to split a rectangle into thirds, it's really useful to know. So you can find the center of a rectangle. Alright. The vanishing, or the perspective grid is making me want to not draw. Like, it's making me want to follow the grid instead of do this little demonstration of something cool with perspective. There we go. So here's your center line. You split the middle, or if you find the center of the grids that you just put in, you can find your thirds as well, where that overlap is. You can get even thirds, or quarters if you wanted to, do the other one. So if you were to split here instead, something's off. It's right up there. You can find your 1/4, and that works in perspective. So if you flatten the plane like I did here, you can pretty quickly find thirds, fourths, whatever you want. I could get really, really technical with it, figure out exactly how big this head should be based on the size of the chest that I put in. I'm too lazy for that though. I'd rather just have like this quick map. Like, I know the nasal cavity comes out, and it's gonna land right about there. The jawbone is like a flat plane right here. Not jawbone. Cheekbones. Yeah. And pretty quickly you can really construct a skull from scratch. And I'm being super sloppy right now because, yeah, I don't mind. I don't mind that I'm being super sloppy. I'm also going to be like extra angular with my construction because I want to stylize this a whole lot. Zygomatic arch is going to create like this. really interesting shape. And then I'll pull up a reference for the jawbone underneath because it's really tricky. Oh, my daughter cannot find the remote. Let's see. Oh, it goes up and over this shoulder too. Alright. Let's see. Coming from this sigil on his chest, we get like a chain. Goes down. The sword is sitting right beneath that. The sword is coming into almost a flat perspective. Yes, sweetheart. Baby, we'll go to the tattoo shop and get your iPad later today. I promise. So, we get the chain, this weird box thing, which I'm just gonna block in. Continues down. Sort of a gemstone. The hilt of the sword fits around that. It's still in a little bit of perspective, so I'll do it this way.
Daddy,
Yes, dear.
I want TV.
My TV.
Yes, in your bed.
In the bedroom. Let's just find the remote for your TV up here. I'll be right back. Alrighty, I'm back. Alright, sorry about that. Uh, so, moving back a plane, I want this throne to look really wicked cool too. Oh, new mentions. Who's mentioning me? Oh. Someone's talking about my the fight that I lost in Oak Door. Uh, yeah, yeah. Don't fight Oak Doors. This so I have done everything I possibly can to ruin my drawing and tattooing hand. So I've always been an artist, but very like before I was a professional artist. This was like shortly after I graduated college. Uh, I worked little uh, like fast food. Like I worked fast food. I was a manager at a Jimmy John's, and uh, there was a meat slicer incident where um, I cut off my index finger and it grew back kind of weird. Um, but that was interesting. I couldn't draw with my right hand for a very long time after that. And then I just shared a story. Oh goodness, you okay? Yeah, she's okay. All right. And then I just shared a story about losing a fight with a solid core oak door on Discord. Um, so I got a boxer's compound fracture. So I broke these these two metacarpals. This one, yeah, this one's held together with a titanium plate, and this one has uh, like my ring finger has titanium pins. Um, like my hand literally exploded. I don't get angry. Like it's very hard to make me angry. But I had a business partner who missed an inspection that he was supposed to be there for, which cost me and my family like $3,000 at the time because it was we were trying to open a new tattoo studio. So I I actually whenever I get a severe injury, which happens more often than I'd like to admit, I mean yeah, it hurts, but my fight or flight response is like extreme calm and clarity. I like it freaks people out. Like both times, like after I got angry and punched the door, my hand exploded. I looked at it, looked at everyone that was in the room, walked outside, screamed really loud, walked back in and said, "I need someone to take me to the ER, please." And it was basically the same thing when I cut my finger off. I was working with someone opening the store, and like I didn't scream or anything. I just felt a little tug on my finger and some pretty searing pain, and I just went, "Oh." And the girl I was working with was like freaking out. And I was like, "I need you to take me to the ER." I was holding my finger like this, and she like ran out to her car and was waiting for me, and I was standing at the front door like, "I need you to open the door." And then she opened the door for me, and I went outside. She jumped in her car. I was like, "I need you to open this door too." And then she took me to the ER. I don't know. It's a it's a really weird pain response, I guess. But yeah, I don't know. When I get hurt, I just like flatline. I'm like, all right, I need to do A, B, and C immediately. Let's do this. Oh, oh gosh. Yeah, blast from the painful past. Fun times. All right, I got really distracted. Oh, that is cool. I didn't even think about that. All right, so I am I am going to first. The cool thing is that ends up just being flat. So let's see. If we go this direction. So the back of the head, top of the back of the head will probably be right around the eye socket. So right here is where I want the throne to come out, behind the head, and we can follow the perspective grid to put the sides of the throne in. That's too far out. Get a weird tangent that way. So let's bring it into here-ish. Yeah, there we go. Uh, then let's say we get sort of a box that follows that. keep following that perspective grid. This is not going to be part of the final painting. Right. This needs to come in. I'll flip it here in a minute. So this isn't going to be part of the final painting, but I do want sort of a bounding box for a pattern that I would like to put in. Oh, I'm moving that piece of reference around too much. Yeah, no, I'm not. So this is a cool looking throne. I'm gonna, let's see. I'm gonna steal some of the idea, not a lot of it. Uh, so a bounding box in the way I think of a bounding box is just sort of a temporary transparent frame that will help me think through the perspective that I'm trying to convey. So, like, I can do things more symmetrically if I have a box that's telling me how those things should look in perspective. I'm gonna follow this. I can tell immediately that this line is too far over because this side doesn't match this side well enough. But now I can use like this curve and where it meets this box to plan out a similar curve on the other side, like so. And I've got that box to help me think through the process. And when I'm done, I'll just get rid of, get rid of, get rid of. And I know everything inside of that box is in perspective. The appropriate perspective. Get my little Procreate keyboard turned on. I don't know why I haven't been using it. And something kind of cool about this is I can actually see like what the thickness of some of this stuff is supposed to be because perspective. So this edge here should be going toward that vanishing point that I just traced one of the grid lines for. So I can do that. And this one would be going toward the opposite vanishing point, which this is the grid line for right here. So I can boop. And as it comes down, it switches vanishing points to my VP3 there. And I can sort of see that thickness and the way it's supposed to behave. Like this one right here would be, I should be able to see like some of this inside edge. And the same goes for this one. Should be able to see just a touch of that inside edge. So I'll give it a little thickness. And his wicked cool throne is starting to look like a wicked cool throne. And I'm just gonna throw in some decorative like filigree shapes because I like filigree. No real reason other than that. But the cool idea that I had looking at some of my reference, so the one where I was like the broken ceiling with all of the light pouring in, there were vines growing down from the ceiling, the whole thing. So I'm just gonna like, let's see. Actually, let's plan out the ceiling. Where do I want the ceiling to start? I'll say start here, which means any vines that I put in on this side need to be growing this way. And if I follow that through until it reaches that vanishing point, it would be this one right here, pretty much. Pretty close. So everything here is ceiling. And to reinforce the perspective, let's see. There we go. Just an interesting abstract shape. Let's straighten things out so that I'm not making things too complex too early. And then we get a thickness. And I'll worry about like the rubble effects later. You know, we can get some vines going down, hanging. Very cool. Very, very cool. I really don't want to be thinking about this line right here, so that's going to be mostly darkness. And I'll have some big vine shapes, or big foliage shapes up in the corner, both to frame it and to get rid of some of the complexity outside of the focal point of the image. Yes, same thing down here, big foliage shapes to get rid of some of the complexity and to frame everything like right in here. Yeah, I'm really excited for this one. Like the one that I did for the challenge last month, by the end of it, I absolutely hated it, and it's because of two reasons, I think. One, it was rushed, and two, I did not plan it out the way I wanted to plan it out. Um, Partially due to being rushed and because I'm really experimenting a whole lot uh, and growing in I'm climbing a new mountain, and it's going to be a really cool mountain to climb, but until I actually pull that off, it's going to be a challenging mountain to climb. So another thing, let's see, nice art. Let's go to Sketchfab. Ah, sorry, I turned the music off. Got really quiet all of a sudden. I really hope I'm. Alright, yeah, I turned the mic back on. I was like, I hope I'm actually talking. Okay. Sketchfab in a new tab. Yeah, I'm glad Sketchfab isn't gone yet. I guess it's getting rolled into, I want to say ArtStation, maybe? I'm not sure. Detailed human skull. So I did say I wanted to get a reference for this, and now I have one. Just a second here. Screenshot. Sketchfab is awesome if you need a 3D model. You just, boom, pull it up on Sketchfab, place it however you want. Copy subject. And add, paste private. So this is something I do a whole lot. I do like my replays. Okay. I do like my replays to be like clean replays, so I don't like having all of my references show up whenever I drop them on the canvas to do comparative stuff. So it's much easier to draw a thing if you have the reference right next to you. Really, this boils down to pushing a whole lot of the. Make sure that my perspective is still correct. Yeah, I don't like having my references show up whenever I do replays. So I paste private. Yeah. Good. There you go. You can get some pretty awesome references through Sketchfab. And I do love to layer a whole lot. Go ahead and switch to a darker pencil. Let's see. So I have started working at much higher resolutions, so I need to make sure that I add new favorite settings for the higher resolutions.
No.
That's not a bad idea. So Apple actually has their Freeform app, which works fantastic as a reference board. Like I keep PureRef open on my MacBook. There's a fly. Oh my goodness. Is it gonna get you? It is. I'm so sorry, baby.
Keep it away.
It'll go away. Go sit on the couch next to Sissy. But the Freeform app is free. It's an Apple thing. I've never used Milanote, so I can't I can't say much about it honestly. But if it works, awesome. We all have our own tools. Oh. Oh, I gotcha. Nice. So yeah, I got yeah. Like I am so firmly embedded in the Apple ecosystem anymore that it's just kind of redonkulous. This is starting to look cool. Oh, Namera, thank you very much for your wicked cool idea of like the low perspective. I might not be like going full on for like the framed by the light area, but it did let me do the close crop with the light area and still get some really cool shapes in. Ah, this is sight. Melty eye goop. Yeah, I like the melty eye goop. I'll figure out the teeth later, so I don't want to do all of the teeth. One, that doesn't look very decayed, and two, that's a pain in the ass. So I will do a like very Neotrad approach to the teeth too. Oof. This is. I like this. I like this a lot. So the foliage is gonna come across the bottom. So we'll come in here. We'll get a little bit of foliage coming down here. Alright. It is 10:02, which means I actually need to run and get my van fixed up a little bit and take the kids to the doctor and clean this house. But yeah, I think we're onto something here. I'm excited about it. I'm also really excited to like render this thing out. Like it's gonna be pretty wicked cool, I think. Oh, that's fun. That's super fun. Namera, thank you for hopping on. And I see Marcelo. I don't know if Marcelo's still watching, but yeah, thanks for tuning in. And Namera, you'll get to see a lot of this in the like critique forum and stuff. Speaking of which, don't be afraid to get critiqued. It really uh, it's it's scary but worth it. I promise. And if done right, it shouldn't be that scary anymore. I'm really sorry for the horrible experience you had getting critiques. It's not cool at all. Yeah, but yeah, I'm excited to see where this one goes. And yeah, all right, take it easy. Until next week, next Tuesday, keep drawing, painting, writing, singing, or dancing your hearts out, and we'll talk then. Yeah.